I'm so excited we get to make a part 2 of this. Yes! This is Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Burke and you guys gave a whole lot of love to part 1 right up here of our series, and guess what? I love making it too. I really did, and there's a whole world of video game knowledge out there that we can explore together. So that's why we're here for your viewing pleasure, and we have the top 10 video game facts that will blow your mind part 2. Starting things off at number 10, there is a piece of Super Smash Bros. Fan fiction that is one of the longest pieces of writing in the English language. It was first published to fanfiction.net by a guy called Chris and has 221 chapters containing a whopping 4,061,216 words. Mental. That's about 4 times the length of the entire Harry Potter series. So if you're a fan of Super Smash Bros. And you have a few years to kill, you know where to go. Moving on to number 9, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is considered by some people to be the greatest video game of all time since its release back in 1998. Now since then, a lot of speedrunners, that's people who try to complete a video game as quickly as possible, have tried to get the fastest time on this game. The current world record belongs to a guy called Skater82297 who has completed the whole game in 17 minutes and 31 seconds using glitches exploited by speedrunners. Now it's the fastest anyone has got from the start to the finish of the game in its whole 18-year history, and nobody's sure if or when it will even be broken. Coming in at number 8, when Tetris was first released for the PC in 1987, it actually came with a boss button. If you were playing Tetris at work when you probably should be working instead, hitting the escape key would bring up a generic looking spreadsheet to make it look like you were hard at work when really you're hardly working. At number 7 now, GoldenEye 007 is claimed by many to be the best James Bond video game of all time, and perhaps even the best movie game ever made. But if you saw who made it, you might not have expected that. Out of the 10 developers who made the game, 8 of them had never worked on a video game at all. Now you might think this would make a bad game, but clearly not, and some people even think it helped them make such a good game because they weren't weighed down with expectations or confined to the right or wrong way of doing things. Pretty cool stuff. Moving on to number 6, now the video game Starcraft is obviously set in outer space. Many games were before and many games have been since, but Starcraft holds the distinct title of being the first video game to reach outer space. A physical copy of the game was put on board shuttle mission STS-96 when it launched on May 27th, 1999. Now this wasn't any accident either, it was put there by mission specialist Daniel T. Barry, who is a massive StarCraft fan. Cheeky. I like it. Next up at number 5, these days you might think of Sony and Nintendo as big bitter rivals within the gaming market, but did you know they actually had a secret child together? Well, not an actual child, but they once created a console together called the SNES CD. It was supposed to bring the power of the CD disc to the Nintendo system while giving Sony a way into the gaming market. About 200 prototypes of the console were made before the two companies fell out with each other over licensing rights. Nintendo went on to make the N64 and Sony went on to make their own console, calling it the PlayStation. Moving on to number 4, a lot of you guys might recognize Cranky Kong. He's appeared in 19 games as Donkey Kong's grouchy granddad who offers tips to help his grandson along. But did you know that Cranky Kong is actually the original Donkey Kong from the first arcade game way back in 1981? Now to be honest, if I spent trillions of hours throwing barrels at a small Italian plumber, yeah, I'd start to get a bit cranky too. Coming in number 3 now guys, what does Hades, god of the underworld from the God of War series, have in common with Dr. Neo Cortex from Crash Bandicoot and Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob? Well, they're actually all voiced by Clarence J. Clancy Brown III. That's his real name, they all have the same voice actor. I think he must get a new name every time he voices a new character because that's a crazy name. Next up at number 2, some of you guys might be huge fans of Batman Arkham Asylum. Everything looked great in that game, right down to Batman's cape, and it really should. Eidos Interactive said they actually put just one guy to work on Batman's cape alone for 2 years. That's all he did. Just focus on the cape. It involved over 700 individual animations and sound clips, and I think he did a pretty good job. And finally at number 1, Pokemon fans will know the legendary bird Pokemon Ho-Oh and Lugia lived in the Bell Tower and Brass Tower in the second generation games. The towers are based on the Ginkakuchi and Kinkakuchi temples on the outskirts of Kyoto in Japan. You only have to take one look at the birds that sit on top of those towers to see where the inspiration for the Pokemon came from. Now the story of the Brass Tower burning down in the game that causes Lugia to flee to the Whirl Islands is even based on the Kinkakuchi temple being burnt down in real life by a monk in the 1950s. But I still think Team Rocket has something to do with it. Well, frankly guys, I'm pretty sad this is already over because I could go on and on and on until it's literally just me listening to myself. Yeah, but that's not how it works. If you guys enjoyed this and you want to hear more, then make yourself heard down below. Should we do a part 3? I want to. I love this. I'm Danny Burke. This is Most Amazing Top 10. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You can find me on Instagram somewhere down there, and I'll see all you guys in the next one.